Good morning, guys. I pray you guys are doing well. I have a short word from the Lord that I want to share with you guys that I believe is very important for us to be on the lookout for. I believe this is a kind warning from the Lord as to what to expect. Okay, so I was spending time with the Lord this morning and I heard this briefly in my spirit. It says, "Listen to me, daughter. Listen and obey my every instruction. Sharp turns are coming. Sharp turns. Expect a call in the morning." Exodus 4:4. Saints, beware of the turns. So the reason why I'm sharing this is because he ends it, saints, beware the turns. So I know that these sharp turns aren't just for my life, but it's for the body of Christ. Okay. And so the first thing that I did was I looked up sharp turns, the definition of sharp turns, and it's a sudden, abrupt, and significant change in direction. Okay. And so usually when you're driving, when you take a sharp turn, you take an unexpected shift off the route that you were on. Okay. And so immediately when I heard sharp turns in my spirit, that's what I thought of. We've been on these journeys with the Lord, and there's going to be something that the Lord does that causes a sudden, abrupt, and significant change in our direction. So we've been going one way, and all of a sudden life is just going to completely shift. Okay. And now he gave me the verse Exodus 4:4 to go to. Now Exodus 4:4 says, "But the Lord said to Moses, put out your hand and catch it by the tail. So he put out his hand and caught it, and it became a staff in his hand." Verse 5, "That they may believe that the Lord, the God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you." Okay, so what's going on here in this chapter, God has encountered Moses at the burning bush, right? And so now he's given him his assignment as to what he's going to do. And Moses says in verse 1 of Exodus chapter 4, he says, "But behold, they will not believe me or listen to my voice, for they will say, the Lord did not appear to you." So then the Lord does this powerful miracle of changing the staff to a serpent. And then he tells Moses to grab that same serpent by the tail, and when he picks it up, it turns into a staff again. And then he says in verse 5, is so that they will know that God has appeared to Moses. Okay. And so in my Bible commentary for that verse, it says, "A staff turning into a snake was not a normal part of Moses's experience, and his initial response to run is natural and sensible. However, since it is the Lord who has instructed him, the otherwise foolish response of picking up a snake by the tail becomes one of faith." So in the past, I had highlighted this verse, and next to it I had written, "Follow the Lord's instructions, even if they seem foolish to the world." And so I understood then that these sharp turns that the Lord was speaking about in this word are going to be instructions that he gives us that may seem foolish to the world standards, or may seem foolish to those people around you, but as you obey those instructions, you're going to see a dramatic shift in your life. And the blessing that comes out of that dramatic shift is how people are going to know that it was the Lord that directed you. And so then God gets the glory in your story. Okay. And so that's really all I wanted to share. But just be aware, like it says in the word, saints, be aware of these turns. Be aware of these sudden instructions that the Lord is going to be giving, or open doors that take dramatic shifts in your life, and because they're going to lead to great blessings that give God glory. So that's all, guys. Until next time. Bye.